Disruptive Conversations today, now. So happy that you're here. Jabbour is going to be my guest. I'll be telling you more about her. She's an extraordinary person, committed to relationships, women to women, paying it forward, one woman at a time. And tell your friends, come on, you don't want to miss it. Be part of the Girlfriends Club. Allie has come on, and there's so much happening. So many people are coming on. Allie has the request already. We're going to be going on. Hi, Concert. Hi, Kashi. Hi, Angie. Hi, Needy. Thanks so much for coming on. And here's Allie without any difficulty whatsoever. We have mastered tech.
Yeah.
So Allie, hang in there a moment. I'm going to be announcing the show, announcing you, and then we are off and talking girlfriend to girlfriend. So welcome everyone to Disruptive Conversations with influencers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, educators, authors, in which we deep dive into the experiences these women have needed to navigate and conquer in order to achieve their personal and professional success. Welcome everyone. Welcome anyone and everyone. I'm Dr. Risa Reiger, clinical psychologist, and I am an expert in change. I help people make positive change at any point. And the good news is that we are built for change. But to make positive change, you need to disrupt. You need to disrupt a thought, a feeling, a belief, a behavior, a habit in order to create your 10.0 life. And that's what these conversations are all about. And today, to help us to teach us, to inform us, and to share with us is the wonderful and one and only Allie Jabbour. And Allie is a risk taker. You know, what I say is that the women who I have on are extraordinary. I have to read from the bio because I can't remember all of the achievements, accomplishments, and ways that these women have contributed. And she spent 3 years postgraduate in Germany with a US company. She has gone there. She puts herself out there all the time. And then she spent 20 years in advertising with the New York Times, where the business was learned from the best and the brightest. She was a managing director for the New York Times and was there for 12 years, spanning across many categories, including fashion, luxury goods, and media categories. By the way, Allie also happens to have exquisite taste, but we'll get to that. And then she was in various director positions with the Tribune Company, Vice President Advertising at Newsday, Chief Marketing Officer at Aurora Branded Entertainment, Group Director at Lorraine Gregory Communications. And then she joined the Schneps Media Group in October as publisher of Dance Papers. And then her journey continues. And then in May of 2023, Allie became the Chief Communications and Branding Officer at Long Island University. And she created the Girlfriends Club in 2015, a passion project. That doesn't mean a vanity project. That means a passion project. There's a huge difference between the two. And she was committed to helping women who needed a laugh be with a group of girlfriends, and her perspective and her motto, and this is what she lives, and I know this to be true. That she pays it forward, one girlfriend at a time. That's the mantra.
Mm-hmm.
And that she realized that not every woman has a girlfriend to confide in, laugh with, or just hang out. And so she created the community on Facebook. So this was a space where Allie saw the need and she said, this needs to happen. And you know what? And she did. So without further moments, Allie, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on to Disruptive Conversations.
Oh, Risa, you are a 10 out of 10. And you have an incredible following. You have an incredible gift. of communicating, with your audience. And I think everyone can attest to the fact that they're extremely grateful to you for bringing on so many different thought leaders and folks and women and with different approaches. And it's really important, right? Because we are really a rich tapestry of those that are around us, right? And so I thank you. I thank you for the invitation to being a part, and just being here with you. I always feel like we're in front of a fire, and it's so nice and warm and cozy. And although I don't have coffee and a blanket, I have a seltzer. So, let's get to it. And thank you for the wonderful introduction.
By the way, the day is going to come, and then we'll post it, when Allie and I actually get to meet in person.
We were so close.
We were so close. We were so close with the clothes, but it didn't work. But it feels like I've been with you for such a long time. So to hop right in, because people want to know. So Allie, what is it that you needed to disrupt within yourself in order to achieve your personal and professional success up to this point?
I mean, I'm always disrupting myself. It's like I almost am like, oh, squirrel. Oh, I got to try that, and you started our conversation, about me being a risk taker. And I have never been shy, as far as being a risk taker, which I also, value as being something that's very unique, because most people don't want disruption in their life. They don't want to take risks. But some of us are sometimes forced into taking those risks.
Yes.
And or being disrupted. And it's a good shakeup. And it's like it lands you in places or in situations where you never thought you'd be in, but that turn out to be so incredibly positive, right? And for me, so you talked about being, a risk taker. So my first job after college, I was hired by a European company. And I could have been sent to England, France, Italy, but they sent me to Germany. I didn't speak German. I had no clue. But I lived on the economy. And what did that do? Well, not only did it help me fall in love with Europe, but it showed me that I can survive on my own. I was 22 years old, living on my own in Europe, and it was amazing. Coming back to the United States afterwards, and of course, what's the first thing you do? Network. Like, I need a job, like, doing, every single networking opportunity I could be in front of, I was there. And I remember one of my girlfriends saying, why don't you come work at the New York Times? That's where she was. And I'm like, do you really think they'd hire me? I mean, she went to a very bougie school. And I'm like, I didn't go to an Ivy League school. And so I made it through the interview process. And the reason why they hired me was because they said, you're a risk taker. Right?
Wow.
So that just kind of was the base of like my life. And, just constantly leaping forward. The only animal in our world that leaps forward and can only go forward is a frog. So I have always been a frog, leaping forward. Think about it. They can't go backwards and they can't go side to side. Frogs only go forward. So I am, a frog.
Well, have never, you are the first, I want to be very clear and specific about that. You are the first person who's ever identified and spoken of themselves in terms of being a frog. So there we go. We're already breaking ground here. And a shout out to Linda for putting us together. Thank you so much, the master connector. And so, Allie, a lot of people shy away from networking. It's like it feels tremendously uncomfortable. Networking has this nuance to it that it's kind of sleazy. It's kind of, you're going out there to get yourself out there in a way that is not, that just has a bad flavor to it. So how did you reframe this and think about it for yourself so that you can go and do it genuinely?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it just, there was, it was either, there was no other choice to get a job than to network with my, girlfriends and, my parents' friends or whatever. And I'm going to take this a level ahead and, and see, and tell you what I do currently. So yeah, you know what? Networking is wonky. It's hard. And I always am asked, would you mind like talking to, my child, they're a senior or they're going to college and vacations, and always so happy to give an interview. And that's where I think that, young adults should take that approach, because it's a little bit more intimate than going to a networking event, if you're trying to, get into a career. But it's also okay for regular adults. So if I was interested in going into another field, why not ask for an informational interview? Tell me about, like, I think your career is really cool. Like, I would love an informational interview. It's so not imposing, and it gives the person on the other end the opportunity to talk about themselves, which is usually pretty easy once you get the ball rolling. And so I feel like that's like the next wave of networking, to make it a little bit more personalized. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. And I also want to go back to something that you were talking about when you went away and you went and lived someplace where you didn't know the language, weren't familiar with the country, and what you talked about knowing that you could take care of yourself. And so, what do you think the role of self-trust is for you?
I mean, for me, and I can answer that wholeheartedly, the fact that my parents believed in me.
Ooh.
Okay, so let's talk the real deal here. I'm the youngest of six girls. I've been, I was living at home, obviously college, this whole thing, just kind of blew up that summer after I graduated. And I never thought that my parents would be like, go, like, you do this. But they were 100% behind me. So
Wow.
with them being 100% behind me, I became 100% behind me. So my launch pad was 200%. And I was like, you know what, I got this. And that's the truth. So I go back and, I'm old now, and I think back and I dial it back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I had that life. Truly. I mean, like, and I still, people say to me, I can't believe your parents let you go. And it's like, because it really was a time where your parents giving you permission to go. Like, how did I not get my parents' blessing? So it truly was a launch pad for everything.
Yes, yes, that you had that support underneath you.
Yeah.
It sounds like, and not everyone has that support underneath them. It's not necessarily about the support of, go live in Germany and take this career, but to be supported, to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. And it sounds like that's something, and I don't know if you've thought about it this way, that you created in many respects with the girlfriend club.
It's so true, right? So, like, the foundation was laid a long time ago. I didn't realize it, but it's the truth. So like, you fast forward to the Girlfriends Club, and why did I create it? So, throughout my life, I've been so blessed. Like I said, I have 5 sisters. I have so many close girlfriends and incredible experiences under my belt. And I have learned so much along the way. And I still have incredible role models that I just emulate. And I just, like, I'm in awe all the time. Some of these remarkable remarkable young women, older women, that just doing things that are magnificent. Personal, private, public. I mean, there's so many, right? But I realized, you touched on it before, I'd gone through a lot of strife, a lot of hardship. And I'd lost my parents, one of my sisters. I went through a really horrific divorce. And if it wasn't for my sisters and my girlfriends, I never would have survived. And I'm not kidding. I had 2 small children. It was really rough. And without their support and just the giving me the confidence to persevere, because literally I was having a hard time finding that confidence. And it was like being, thrown to me, like, you can do this, you can do this. I remember one of my best girlfriends saying, getting back into work, like on Monday, you're going to feel so much better, like get back to work. That's what you love to do. And she was right, after like this crazy weekend of stuff happening. But at the end of the day, Risa, I realized that not every woman has girlfriends.
Right.
And it's not uncommon, even today, and I said, if there's something I can do, just create like this community. I never thought that it would do anything, but I thought, what, every single day I'm going to put a post up on Facebook. It started on Facebook, with something really positive, or funny, sometimes silly, or it's about wine, or one of my favorites, like for this season, it's called, Witches Night Out. Instead of Girls Night Out, it's Witches Night Out. But at the end of the day, it started to grow. And I started to get all these different comments like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like, it's not perverse, but it was appropriate. And I realized how that made me feel so good that I could pay it forward.
Yeah.
And like from that, I started to create, some videos on YouTube. And then, as you know, during the pandemic, I went live on Facebook every Tuesday night with my programming called Girlfriend, the number 2 Girlfriend, where it was just like a one-on-one conversation with girlfriends. And, just sometimes there's some painful conversations, right? Or there's pain points that you don't want to talk about. So I tried to address those kind of on at the 20,000 level. Sometimes I get to 3. Like I've never not answered a question, but there's nothing more rewarding than when someone writes to you and says, thank you so much. Like, wow, like, sharing your story.
So that's so crucial. And, both the Surgeon General of the U.S. and also in my research about women and depression, one of the crucial factors in inpatient versus outpatient depressed women was having social support. And so it sounds like, first of all, being one of 6 girls at home, it sounds like you had your own club at home. You already had a club where many of us needed to seek it out. You had a club to start with.
Literally.
And what that feels like, and to set something up on a regular basis, for women to know that there's this place for me to go to, there's a place where I can tune in, there's a place where I can listen, and I can participate or not participate. That having anchoring points is so important, because there are people who, like, no one's thinking about them.
Literally. And then on the other side, I would have men reaching out to me like, I never thought of that perspective. Or you helped me think a little bit differently about the situation that I'm in. And I'm not a licensed anything. I am a girlfriend. And I feel like you should have your therapist and your doctor, but you should also have a girlfriend in the room, who can talk the talk, because sometimes they give you the better ones. And that was really interesting, just to hear from different men, like I never thought of it this way, coming from my wife's perspective or whatever, a girlfriend, so it's humbling to have people reach out and, and to talk about it. But, we're all striving to thrive, and I think COVID taught us all a lot.
Absolutely.
Survivorship.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We know that. And to have that opportunity to create that community. And it's so important to understand that, you think about it and you think, well, what difference can I make? How do I have an impact? And all it takes, it doesn't take all, it can take a lot, but it also doesn't have to take all that much to say, I'm just going to go on Facebook, let people, not just going to, but I'm going to do this. And whoever joins, so be it. That you can start somewhere. And that's what you did. You felt the need, you've had the courage, you had the self-trust. And self-trust also means that it could work out, maybe it won't, right? It doesn't go to the space of guarantee. And that's where, as a risk taker, uh, in starting that program, and in so many of the aspects of the steps you've taken in your life, taking a risk, and this is what's crucial, and I want people to really use this as part of a takeaway, of one of the many takeaways from our conversation today, is that it doesn't mean that you've got it all figured out, and it doesn't mean that it's going to work. All you know is you're going to get out there and see what happens.
Literally, and just put passion behind it, and it also, like, for the women that, send me questions, I just want them to feel good, and feel good about yourself. Put yourself in a good surrounding. And I know that you had Gail Style on a
Yes.
few months, and Gail is my niece, and I love her message, right? What surrounds you and how you dress, is yet just an extension of your emotion, right? And how you feel. So you take all these pillars of self-care, because it's all self-care, whether
Yes.
being a risk taker or whatever it is. And it's so important, so stepping out in front, getting ahead, taking care of you. Like, there's not, my mother used to say, and I'm not sure if Gail said it, but she used to say, it takes the same amount of time to get dressed, whether you dress sloppy or neat. And it's true, right? We all have to put two legs, in our pants or whatever. And why not look beautiful? Why not look great? So that, you just never know. And I think that also goes into this whole, feeling, about, girlfriending and sharing these types of, paying it forward rather, this kind of information, right? And that's something that's a part of this whole, world that I live in. And, I get, it's funny because I get asked all the time, like, you're so positive. Well, the opposite's no fun. Who doesn't want to be positive? Like,
yeah. But I'm going to add on to, but that what people don't necessarily, we get too simplistic about what being positive means. Being positive does not mean, oh, everything is just perfect right now. Everything is great. Being positive is about looking at something, seeing what it is, knowing that it's hard, recognizing that it's difficult, acknowledging that it's going to take effort and energy and thought and commitment. And the optimism, the positivity is that I'm going to go in and give this a try.
100%. It's huge. I mean, I think you sum that up beautifully. I mean, think about it. We all have choices, right? It's either cup half full or cup half empty. you know, and I know you're a cup half full person. And I know that you project that in everything. I see it, I feel it, you know, and I ascribe to that myself because like I said, you know, again, being positive, it's everything, right? It's all of that, just like you said. And if we can just put a little bit more positive in our messaging every day and help each other,
Mm-hmm.
there's
Yeah, and
it's really easy. It's really easy to help each other.
and it's as small as acknowledging someone, smiling at someone, and and just instead of reacting in a kind of way, just you have a choice about things. And that the other thing, and I was thinking about this before we were meeting today, is that I was speaking about suicide prevention, and that suicide prevention isn't necessarily about finding someone who's about to commit suicide, because that's not gonna happen with that's not necessarily what happens with us. However, what we can do, we can certainly be on the lookout, and don't get me wrong, we need to be on the lookout, we need to be educated, we need to know what to look for. That's really, really important, because you can have impact. However, you can also have impact by smiling at someone, saying hello, where you could be brusque or not, that you make eye contact, that when you can, you hold the door for someone. I mean, you never, ever know what the smallest gesture of being acknowledged or being treated in some kind of kind way will have on someone. And you will never necessarily know.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Okay.
And that's okay, girlfriend. So,
Spread kindness. Spread kindness.
and so Allie, at this point, so what is it that's like lighting you up and lighting you up, even through these difficult times of so much turmoil right now? What is it that's lighting up, and what's your next disruption?
Oh gosh. I don't know what I'm afraid to open up the door. um, I'm not sure what the next disruption is, but I'm ready for it. And like I said, you know, I think we all grow from that. And I refuse to stop growing, Risa. I refuse. Like throw it at me. Um, but I will say, you know, of course, the joy of my kids, you know, they keep me going. My fiance, my sisters, my family. I mean, it's just so wonderful to be surrounded, you know, by such incredible human beings, and of course, my girlfriends. I wouldn't be here without them. And you know, my life has taken on so many twists and turns, but at the end of the day, they're all so good. I'm getting all emotional, but
I know it happens with us. We're just so like through the screen,
yeah.
so hard connected. And emotions are a part of life, and really, really important ones. And bottom line is that positive change can happen at any point. You may not know, you may not be able to plan it, you may not see it coming, you may be committed to it and working on it actively.
Mhm.
But in all these different ways, positive change can happen at any point. Allie, you live it, you breathe it, you embody it, and you bring it for everyone around you. So with that, I want to thank you so very much. You can find Allie on the Girlfriends Club. Allie is great, is a great girlfriend. Also know that I'm here every Thursday from 12 to 12:30. And if for any reason, any girlfriend, anyone has missed being able to see this live, don't worry. We're having it posted. You can come on. You need a girlfriend, you can find a girlfriend here. Allie, let's take our glam shots. If you want to do a little hair
Oh,
toss beforehand, you look
we're
you're fine.
here.
So we can do that. You ready?
Yes.
One more. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for coming today. Remember that positive change can happen at any point in time. See you next week. I've saved a seat for you.
Take care. Thanks,
You too.
Risa.
See you
Thank you.
soon.